Hello everybody, I am Gareth here from WhatCulture Wrestling, and it's a bit surreal because normally on a Saturday I'll come in and maybe have a nice Phil next to me, a nice Phil, this lovely beard, and there'll at least be a few people in the office. But obviously with the current state of things, the current global situation that we're all facing right now, there's nobody here. I've chosen to come in today to give you all the news that you definitely deserve and you need to hear, because we all need a bit of an escape in times like this. So if we can keep pumping out some awesome news videos for you guys to click on and keep yourself updated with the world of wrestling in this current time, then that is exactly what I will do. You are welcome. Okay, so the first piece of news we're going to go into today is all centered around AEW and what is happening with their next episode of Dynamite. Obviously, as you may have noticed if you watched Dynamite last week, they kept saying the next episode of Dynamite, the next episode of Dynamite. There was a lot of things up in the air. They weren't specifying when that next episode was going to be. They were just saying when there's going to be a next episode of Dynamite, this is what's going to happen. A lot of people were expecting the Blood and Guts war to go down next week, obviously without an audience still. But Tony Khan has actually come out on Twitter. AEW released a statement on Twitter to confirm that that isn't actually going to happen. He's got a few reasons for that, but I'll just read you the quote. I'll let you know what's going on. He said, "We plan to continue answering that call with live weekly shows every Wednesday night on TNT. But the time and circumstances aren't right for the card we had planned next week for Blood and Guts." He also said in the statement that show will happen when the time is right, but what you can count on instead this coming Wednesday night is a great live episode of AEW Dynamite featuring Chris Jericho confronting Matt Hardy, who we'll get into very shortly. They're going face-to-face, one-on-one for the first time ever, and a tremendous night of wrestling action. I believe it's the first time ever in AEW. Not sure how many times they went face-to-face in WWE. Let me know about that in the comment section below, because I can't think off the top of my head because I'm wearing a hat and it keeps a lot of the information. That made more sense in my head, never mind. It's unfortunate in a sense because a lot of people were looking forward to that, and now it isn't really clear when that's going to happen, when that's going to go down now. But obviously the health and safety of all the performers involved, it was probably going to be a pretty reckless match, let's be honest. There's probably going to be a lot of blood and guts. So it's probably wise for that match not to happen at this point, and I think it would have also massively benefited from a live audience. So not having a live audience there, playing that out in front of a completely empty arena, might have felt like a bit of a waste, so I do completely understand that decision. Again, we're going to get some cool stuff on AEW next week anyway. In its place, we're going to get that Matt Hardy and Chris Jericho face-to-face. And speaking of which, they already sort of went face-to-face in the Talk Is Jericho podcast. Matt Hardy was the latest guest on Talk Is Jericho, and he was talking everything about his WWE departure, talking about how the AEW move was suggested and hinted at a long time ago. And and he also mentioned a few things about the Randy Orton segment mini feud that happened. So apparently he had dinner with the Young Bucks in California, and that was about 6 or 7 months prior to him being released from WWE and leaving. And he obviously talked about how they had quite a nice friendship from TNA, their time in TNA together. And he explained that he didn't commit to AEW at the time because he wanted to see how things played out with WWE first and go from there. So 6 or 7 months ago, it was hinted at in that meal that they were having, they had dinner together, that the AEW move could be a potential thing for him. But he was a bit like, no, I don't want to say yay or nay at this point. I just want to do my WWE thing, see where that goes, which makes sense. It's a logical and wise thing to do, Matt Hardy. But he also mentioned about his creative situation in WWE, how it was getting quite frustrating for him. He said, "I pitched idea after idea to WWE on my own, and I never got any feedback. I would hear a little bit of chatter here and there. There was never anything that sparked any creative fire in Vince's mind. It became frustrating," which is not massively surprising. "They were trying to re-sign me to keep me under contract, so I became WWE property. I wanted to be in a prominent role on TV. I don't think Vince saw that for me." So, yeah, that's something we've all hinted at and suggested, that Matt Hardy wants to be on television for what is probably going to be his last real run. He doesn't just want to be a person who pops up every now and again. He's more prominently a backstage superstar, let's say. He doesn't want to be that. He wants to. He's got a lot of things that he could still offer to television. He should be doing that. He's one of the most insanely creative characters out there. So that was probably behind his thought process to go, you know what, I'm not going to get this in WWE, I should go over to AEW. And even though he didn't have a crowd to play in front of in his first appearance, he was still pretty cool. And it was, yeah, that took our minds off everything for a while. So thank you AEW, and thank you Matt Hardy, because that was a really cool moment. He also confirmed about the Orton storyline that was originally, when he got those chair shots to the head, that was going to write him off completely. That was going to be it. But then, because of the ratings, because it did so well, because it did really well, it got a lot of people talking, got myself and probably a lot of you guys back home talking about it. And that meant that they prolonged that, obviously with that last man standing match, that was apparently set to be a really long, really gruesome, epic match. But that idea was nixed apparently at the last minute because Matt Hardy wasn't going to commit to his contract. So it felt like WWE were sort of going, okay, yeah, so we'll give you this really cool match and this cool angle, but if you sign a contract, you can stick around and do it. But he was a bit like, no, I don't want to commit. I want to see what the world has got in store for me, what options I have. So WWE went, no, okay, we're not going to give you the match, we're just going to beat you up again, which is what it is. Okay, moving on. Next, we've got a bit of a, I don't know how to segue into this one. Matt Hardy talking about signing the contract with AEW. Hulk Hogan settles a lawsuit about a sex tape. Yeah, that'll do. Yeah, so as I've mentioned, apparently there's a settlement that's been reached in Hulk Hogan's $110 million lawsuit against Cox Radio DJs over the sex tape that happened, obviously. This is all according to Bay News 9. I'm going to read a lot of this verbatim because I don't want to get my facts wrong, because I will get absolutely lambasted. This is very serious stuff. It said here that a confidential settlement has been reached in the $110 million lawsuit brought against Cox Radio, Cox DJs Mike Cowhead Calter, and Matt Spiceboy Lloyd, and a few other defendants. This is the same sex tape that was leaked to the National Enquirer in 2015, which led to their story on Hogan using a racial slur on the tape, which we all remember. Obviously, that led to Hogan being ousted by the WWE, and then he never came back, and that was the end of it. No, obviously he did come back and it's all still a bit icky. But then March 2016, Pinella's Country, I probably said that completely wrong, correct me in the comments section, jury found that Gorka invaded Hogan's privacy by publishing the sex tape, and they ordered them to pay more than $140 million in damages to the Hulkster. Gorka ended up going bankrupt, as we all remember, and settling with Hogan for $31 million, and that was the end of their website. That was it. So the remainder of that $110 million balance that is owed to Hogan was apparently then put onto Cox Radio. They went, okay, you've got to pay that now. So that's the amount that Hogan was seeking from Cox Radio, and the defendants mentioned they denied all the allegations and fought Hogan for pretty much almost 4 years up until this point. And then this week they've quietly settled. So they've come to some kind of arrangement. There's no real information as to what that was or how much money that was, but that was reached on Thursday apparently, and apparently this was just before a trial was, well, not just before, a trial was scheduled to take place in January 2021. So yeah, this is all pretty much done with, I guess. I sort of thought it was done with. I forgot it was even still going on, to be honest. There's been bigger things at hand, let's be honest. But yeah, Hulkster seems to have settled that lawsuit and can now move on with things, I guess. It's still a bit icky. Every time you see my WWE television, it's one of those things. It just still doesn't feel quite right. It feels a bit, it clashes with the current time seeing Hulkster on TV. Obviously, you guys have got your own opinions on that. Myself, personally, it just still feels a bit weird. But yeah, he's apparently settled the lawsuit. But on to more positive things. We had a Smackdown episode last night. I'm going to have a sip of tea right now because I'm getting a bit dry, I'm getting a bit parched. Okay, yeah, so we had Smackdown last night, and it was nice. Smackdown was nice. It was something, again, that helped us escape from what was going around the world around us at this point. And there were times when it felt a bit weird, and there's a few moments where you could hear people saying things where you normally wouldn't. But that's just the nature of the beast at this point. You've just got to suck it up and deal with it. But we're still getting live wrestling, which you can't complain. It's awesome at this current stage right now. In that Smackdown episode, you had Gronkowski, the Gronk. He popped up and he was hype. He was super hype with Mojo Rawley. They were just being hype, and Mojo Rawley was like pushing Michael Cole everywhere, going, let's get hype. And he was like, oh, okay. They teamed up on Baron Corbin. There was a segment there. We'll go into that, what happened at the end of that. Paige came back. She promised to come back last week. She had travel issues, it's fine. And she came back this week via FaceTime and had a conversation with Bayley and Sasha Banks, which again we'll get into in a minute. Then you had Daniel Bryan and Drew Gulak. They took on Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro in a tag match. Again, that was one of those where you could hear a lot going on. But it was great. Like any other arena, any other situation, you see these four going at it, you're very lucky because they're brilliant, brilliant wrestlers. Go and watch the match, give it some attention because it was epic. They did what they could in the arena and it was great seeing some live wrestling. And yeah, so apparently now for next week, I'll continue with the rest of what happened on SmackDown and I'll say what's going to happen next week. That's probably the logical thing to do, isn't it? So Roman Reigns and Goldberg had a showdown as well. They had a face-to-face. Goldberg just absolutely destroyed the table. That was one of the standouts for me. They went back and forth and really started promoting that match. It's probably going to be one of the main events for that 2-night WrestleMania. It was cool. Again, it got us engaged. The intensity actually seeped through the television for a change. It wasn't very similar to what happened with that Cena Bray Wyatt promo from last week. It didn't feel awkward. It didn't feel clunky without an audience there. It still felt there was energy, and I was invested in it, and I really enjoyed it. And then we had John Cena and Bray Wyatt having a video package. Again, it was a really good video package, but then they just showed the WrestleMania 30 match between them, which, again, it's what you probably would have done anyway before the match, just to go, let's tune in and reinform myself as to why these dudes don't like each other. But yeah, we got that in the middle of SmackDown, which is what it is. We're going to see a few of these replays. Obviously saw the Royal Rumble on Raw, and we saw the Elimination Chamber match again last week. So get used to that. It's probably going to keep happening, which is fine. It's great to watch those matches again. But yeah, in terms of next week, we had Drew Gulak versus Shinsuke Nakamura announced, and if Gulak wins that match, then Daniel Bryan gets an Intercontinental title match against Sami Zayn at WrestleMania, and that will be insane. That will be such a good match. I'd be so excited for that. I'd love to see what these two can do together, because in terms of characters, they're incredible, and then in terms of just being brilliant I'm salivating. I'm literally salivating at the thought of that match. Please win, Gulak. We need you. Also, we've got the New Day and the Usos are going to have a match to decide who's going to be the number one contender for the SmackDown Tag Championships at WrestleMania. I've got a feeling a screwy finish is going to happen there, and we're going to get a three-way. Just calling it. Just calling that one. Also, we've got Alexa Bliss taking on one half of the Women's Tag Team Champions, Asuka. Probably going to set up a match, the women's tag match between women's tag title match between Nikki Cross, Alexa Bliss, and Asuka and Kairi Sane, which again, that'll be a great match. Asuka's just been fantastic. We really missed her on SmackDown this week, to be honest. I really did miss Asuka. She's been one of the MVPs of this current situation. And then we're going to get a Wyatt Firefly Funhouse thing as well, which are always cool and entertaining. It'll be very interesting to see what you can do in an empty arena. And also just another side bit, and he's a SmackDown superstar. So that's a segue. He's a SmackDown guy. Jeff Hardy apparently he is bringing back his No More Words theme, which is something I've been advocating for weeks and weeks and weeks and months. Actually, I love that song. It's one of my most nostalgic wrestling songs. It always just reminds me of how young I was when I got into wrestling, and it's one of the. Yeah, it's something very close to my heart. So I'm glad it's coming back. He said this on WWE's The Bump. He said that, he's bringing back his fan favourite entrance. Fan favourite being me. I'm a fan and it's my favourite. And he also mentioned a few other things in this appearance. He mentioned wanting to feud with Roman Reigns and The Fiend. Both of those matches I'm quite happy to watch because they'd be incredible. I'd love to see Jeff Hardy and The Fiend have a feud. See Jeff Hardy go really weird. Yeah, get really weird with The Fiend, man. That'd be big money. I'm up for that. And he promised as well that we'll see an all-new version of Jeff Hardy here in 2020. I think we will, because we're going to see Jeff Hardy in front of no fans for most of 2020 from the looks of things. So it's going to be interesting. It's a shame. It's a real shame. Obviously, we've got Jeff Hardy coming back. This great grand return, and the current situations, it's very similar to what's happened with Matt Hardy and Brody Lee in AEW. We're getting these huge returns and re-emergences of great wrestlers, but we're just not getting those pops because of just the situation, which cannot be helped, obviously. But it's a shame. It just is what it is. It can't be helped, but it's just a shame, really, isn't it? Also, we got 2 new matches set for WrestleMania 36. So you've got those that are coming out. They're going to be coming onto this card. Paige mentioned this in her appearance. This is why Paige was there. She was there to announce a match between Bayley. Bayley, who's going to be defending her SmackDown Women's title. But how is she defending it? She's probably going to be defending it in a match. In a six-pack challenge. Shock horror. That was what a lot of people suggested was going to happen. But the contenders have been announced. They were announced by Paige, and Bayley and Sasha were just running them down every time somebody was mentioned. They're like, oh, they don't even go here anymore. This person's terrible. I think when they said Lacey Evans is going to be one of them, Bayley said, oh, I've already beaten her. Like, stuff like that. It was great. So it's going to be Bayley defending the title against Sasha Banks, Tamina, Dana Brooke, Naomi, and Lacey Evans. So, yeah, great, cool. It's probably going to be a really cool match. Again, I feel like they've done something. I think they did do something similar to this. I think it was at Mania 33. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like a battle royale or elimination match for the title, which it gets more people on the show. They try to fill out 2 cards technically now because it's over 2 shows. So it makes sense. I just get the feeling it's going to be Bayley and Sasha at the end, and there's going to be a turn. It's got to be. That's money. That's where the money's at. And then have a nice feud rolling all the way through the summer to SummerSlam between those two. That'd be what I'd like to see. Please just finally pay off this feud on the main roster. We need it. And also, Rob Gronkowski also appeared, obviously, on this show. And he, like I mentioned, they had that exchange with King Corbin, who, crowd or no crowd, he's still being a massive arsehole, and he's very good at it. So we like that. We appreciate that. And he announced that Elias and King Baron Corbin will be fighting at the grandest stage of them all, which, again, that'll be an interesting match. I hope Gronk gets involved with it and it gets really gimmicky and just brilliantly farcical, because those two could probably they definitely could put together a decent wrestling match, a strictly wrestling match. But I think all the bells and whistles really is called for in that kind of match. Just get the King's scepter versus the guitar, whatever you want to do with it, just make it crazy. I'm up for that. I'm here for that. We need a bit of nonsense in times like this. And finally, okay, just before I leave you now, so that was an awful lot of information for one man just to impart onto you. So if I've missed anything, please let me know about any other things that have been happening in the world of wrestling. There's only so much information I can absorb and spew back out to you. But I'll leave you with one weird thing, weird takeaway from today. WWE have announced a new t-shirt in light of the current situation. Obviously, WrestleMania won't have any fans this year in attendance. They'll just have essential staff in the arenas, because it's probably going to be over two separate arenas. They've announced a t-shirt. And the t-shirt is an I Wasn't There authentic WrestleMania 36 t-shirt. So you got the badge, you got the dates, 2 dates on it, and then instead of saying I was there, which is the usual gimmicky thing that people tend to buy, like I was at WrestleMania this year, it's I wasn't there, because you should be proud that you wasn't there because you were at home being social distancing. So I kind of want it. I kind of want the t-shirt. It's just so weird. Oh, well, if they can make some money off it, I guess that makes sense. But if anything, you just want that t-shirt just to say you had it and you lived through this time, this very insane time for not just wrestling, but the world, really. So yeah, I'll leave you with that just to think about, look at, probably purchase at some point. But yeah, in times like this, just make sure you're still speaking to people, be that through FaceTime, over the phone. If you do live on your own, obviously people are self-isolating with families and friends and keep them contained and everything else. That's brilliant. But if you are on your own, you live on your own, make sure you're reaching out to people. You've got social media now. You've got all these outlets to speak to people. You don't have to be on your own in times like this. It can be a very scary time. And yeah, just make sure you're not feeling like you have to contain all form of communication in these times, because it's very important. Yeah, we still be social, but not physically social and getting up close to people on the street, which, yeah, is what it is. That's my very weird public service announcement done. Yeah, thank you very much for clicking onto this video today and checking out all of our awesome wrestling news from around the world. Yeah, let us know about your thoughts and feelings about all these things right now in the comment section below. Do not forget to like, share, click on that subscribe button, ring the bell while you're there. Also, check out WhatCulture Combat, which I am a bit of a face for at this point. We've just dropped a new trailer, which is pretty fun because it sees me just being made a fool out of, which is great. Yeah, but we've got loads of things. We've got my video logs, my training videos, a few things that we're throwing out there at all times, and we're still going to be pumping out videos for the Combat channel in this current situation as well. But yeah, like I said, look after yourselves, please, and I will see you very, very soon.